Hello, this is Jessica. Welcome to Psych, Psalms, and Paper. Enjoy the video. Cheers, beautiful people of the world. This is a shout out to Last Chance Cidery Flathead Cherry. It is delicious, and I'm going to be sipping on this while we do this activity. I'm just looking for a wave image here that we can use to draw our wave. So I'm just looking through this beautiful book that I got for Christmas from my parents way back in the day, and it's so beautiful and I never use it, so I thought I would bust it out for this. Hello and welcome to my channel. Today the inspiration for this video is coming from Pastor Stephen Furtick's latest sermon about Hezekiah the king, and the links to Elevation Church and his sermon will be down below. Right now you can see me begin to draw a wave for this basically tool to help you deal with the emotions that we go through in our life. Pastor Stephen is talking about very common ways that sometimes we have learned to deal with emotions by just stuffing it and ignoring it, and then they come popping out in weird behaviors and we don't even know why we're doing these things, or if we put too much stock into our emotion, that can cause us a lot of suffering too, assuming that this emotion means this or that. So if you are from the 90s and people back then, you sort of grew up, it's like, keep your emotions to yourself and hide them, stuff them. This tool is, as you can see me writing right now, ride the emotional wave. So the step that's really actually kind of difficult is the first one, identifying the emotion in the moment. Because when you get triggered, that wave can feel really big really quickly. In the ocean, you usually have some warning, but sometimes there's those rogue waves, right, that just pop out of nowhere. That can be like a true traumatic trigger for someone, where they smell something and their brain just goes to that trauma and their whole limbic system has a response, and then you're finding yourself in fight and flight, and your people around you are thinking, whoa, this person's flipping out, and you're just not really even maybe too aware of why you're having such a big wave at that moment. So ride the emotional wave. We're going to identify the feeling and then sit with it, and then just watch it without judgment. That's the huge tricky part, right? We have been taught all kinds of things, like we shouldn't feel this way, you shouldn't cry. Maybe you're a boy who was a highly sensitive child, but nobody knew or valued that in you, and so you were told you were a crybaby and you're overreacting. And if you're a girl, you're dramatic, but if this is truly who you are, you might be a highly sensitive person, which is 20% of the population. It's a genetic trait. You're taking in more sensory information than the average, and you just need to seek alone time and refuge sometimes, and you have big emotions. You're very in tune with other people's emotions around you, these kinds of things. And that's also with ADHD, you're feeling very deeply. They take images of the ADHD brain, which we are not neurotypical, have a different nervous system, and that those emotions, when we're feeling them, are literally registering as pain and are very powerful, and they can just sort of sabotage you if you're not understanding, or if you're trying to ignore that emotional part of you. So number one is just kind of working on accepting that you might be sensitive and have a lot of emotions, and that's fine. But you can learn, this tool is to help us have some control over our emotions instead of them controlling us. So the beginning is that thoughts create emotions. So sometimes you might be able to start recognizing, when I think these things, I have these emotions, and then I behave this way. So we are going to use this skill, and then we're going to add God to it, which makes it even more powerful, even that much better. If you have faith and believe in God, that you kind of have even a more powerful ability to cope with life. But this will work for anybody, even if you are spiritual, but you're not sure what you believe, or you're not spiritual at all. But so how can we name our emotion? So a lot of people, Pastor Stephen talked about, we want to just run away from the emotion. We don't want to sit in it. So you might have a very deep belief that you could start to identify, that you believe you cannot handle or stand to deal with your emotions. So you want to challenge that belief, because God gave everything within us, or even if you don't believe in God, you have everything within you already to be able to deal with your emotions. That's the human condition. So you just don't like it. So you want to try to work on, I've tried ignoring it and it's sabotaging me. So I'm going to get brave and I'm going to sit with it. And it's not going to feel great, but if you sit with it and then you try not to judge, but you just be aware, then you can start to learn about yourself, and then you can start to learn, how can I deal with this emotion in this moment so that it doesn't escalate into a huge rogue wave that destroys my entire day or week. And so if you tend to have an emotional outburst that ruins the rest of your day, you might try to get that down to like 2 hours, ruining 2 hours instead of, you want to be realistic with your goals. But here you can see I'm just drawing the wave. This is a big one. So this is one of those big, huge emotions that we might be becoming aware happens when this happens. So you want to try to identify your thises. And so the main thing is that you are able to name what you're feeling, which a lot of times we can have more than one emotion at the same time. So somebody with sexual abuse trauma might be super excited to be pregnant and really happy about being pregnant and all that. But being pregnant in that life stage and going through all that might bring up some past trauma that you'll have to deal with. So you might be having many emotions at once. A lot of us have what Pastor Stephen talked about, are these secret letters within us that we read to ourselves over and over. So these are our cognitive distortions, things that the world has told us that aren't true, or people have told us that we have learned to believe that aren't true. Some things like that might be that I am no good, I am unlovable. So God loves you no matter what you've gone through or the bad things you have done. And so starting there, that, you are not unlovable. You might be hard to love at times, and then you can work on those behaviors. He also talks about not just dumping our emotions on the people around us. So these are some of the ways we cope negatively, is we just, explode our emotions onto whoever's around us. We're not dealing with it. We're stuffing it. So then we displace it onto others. So it's the classic, the dad goes to work, the boss treats him poorly, the dad comes home and kicks the dog. The dad is not dealing with his emotions, so then he's kicking the dog. Sometimes, as you see me drawing here, sometimes it might take this long that actually your wave has been building slowly throughout the day, and then it's going to crash in a huge drowning situation. Whereas if you can kind of deal with the building of the wave as it comes, then you can keep your waves smaller. So it's not that you don't have waves or have emotions. It's healthy too, but you're, keeping them from overwhelming or drowning you. So number one is identifying your emotions. So there's a man who dedicated his life to studying emotional intelligence, and he has a great app on that you can get that will help you to track your emotions if you like to do that. I will link that below if I can find it. And so emotions are rough sometimes. So I just wanted to put it out there as a coping, and if you want me to post this as a free download, this wave, so that you can have it and use it in your life, just comment below and I'll do that. So I just wanted to kind of make it fun, make it so you have something to look at, some art. And then if you want to go to my website linked below, I do have some parent coaching and ADHD coaching, which a big part of ADHD, if you've been diagnosed with that, is it's actually an emotional dysregulation disorder. But a lot of practitioners and definitely lay people just really focus on the hyperactivity part, and it's very misunderstood. And there's lots to learn about things that will help increase your self-insight and increase your ability to accept and understand yourself and make sense of, why do I have such huge emotions? I definitely feel different than the normal average person. I just have been called dramatic. I've been called this or that, I'm overreacting. If I'm a boy with hyperactive, predominant ADHD, generally you're going to be more irritable, particularly through your teen years, very highly competitive. So it's very difficult for you to lose. And you might have that might be the trigger for a huge wave like this, is losing a super close game, coming down to the end. And especially if you feel like you messed it up, because we have a lot of negative self-talk a lot of times, very black and white. I'm either great or horrible. So that's another thing that this wave activity can help you know, that if you start to identify, I'm feeling like I'm not good enough. Now that's not an emotion word, but it might help you understand that that's a trigger for a wave for you, is that when I feel that I'm not good enough. So that's going to be, I'm triggered that I tried something and I feel like I failed. And sometimes you didn't even fail in other people's eyes, but in your own eyes, you're so hard on yourself, you're looking at it as a failure. And a therapist or God can help talk to you and help teach you, like, there is goodness within you. The Holy Spirit is within you. That you are not all good or all bad. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are so much more than that. You are important, and you have gifts to offer the world, even if maybe you are not super aware of what those gifts are, or if you're devaluing your gifts. So this wave manifests itself in a lot of ways in our life throughout our days. And so it can be used, hopefully, just as a tool to help normalize that it's normal that we get these big emotions, and to not be full of shame and self-hatred after the wave crashes. That's a good point of the, the aftermath of the crash, right? When you have an emotion rise up like a wave, how do you respond? What do you do just automatically? Anybody seen my ice cream? Did you eat it? Did you eat my ice cream? Have you done that?
No.
course that's how I respond every time. Keep it cool. Always.
Cowabunga, dude.
Dear Diary, today I fell on my face in front of everyone. I rode that emotional wave right into the pavement.
Mom, this is the safe space, right?
Yes, of course.
I was the one who ate all the cookies.
What?
I went out and tried to cut a pine tree down. Fell through the ground like Alice. Oh, what a sound. Oh, what a sound.
Check out below for the links to the sermon, Elevation Church, and to my website. Thanks for stopping by my channel. See you later.